Ndindi Nyoro MP Kiharu is our guest tonight. Again, thank you so much for making time for us tonight.
Thank you very much.
There's actually a doctor friend of mine on Twitter who's joking and saying, I should have let you just relax.
I think he has a point. As you know, Hussein, we had to...
Because you had a lot of... I mean, you need to go through counseling. That's what he's saying.
I actually haven't slept cumulatively for more than 4 hours for the last 3 days.
All right.
So I hope you understand also.
And we're sorry about that.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at what Kenyans are saying. Either way, all right? The feedback, again, a sample. This is what they're saying on Twitter. We have... all right, texting a lot of time. Josh Hurricane says, regional politics is all about kingpins. How sure is Ndindi that he will succeed in 2022 without Kenyatta's blessings, President Kenyatta's blessings? And then we also have another tweet here from Senior Matiko Nyoro, the real gentleman who cannot be dictated in his own house, like in Kiharu. Okay, and we also have the Pan-Africanist asking Ndindi where the talking point, we cannot sell Raila in central Kenya, comes from. Definitely not from government and not Jubilee. Is it a Tanga talking point? I'll come to that. First, I want you to respond. I would have asked you this question, but Isaac Mudusi on Twitter put it so well. I thought Ndindi Nyoro and his fellow Tanga, he's calling you. Yeah. Here he's right. He's saying, I thought Ndindi Nyoro and his fellow Tanga flower girls were in government. Why are you crying under retrogressive government that you fought for?
I was saying I'm in government, of course, because I'm a member of parliament and legislature is one of the arms. And of course, I'm in the Jubilee Party.
I thought that should come first, isn't it?
Yeah,
Jubilee
exactly.
Party does form the government.
Which forms the government. Yeah. But Hussein, as you know, government is collective one, but there is also personal responsibility. Mm-hmm. I believe our government, led by Uhuru Kenyatta, is leading our country in the right direction. But of course, in any institution, including Royal Media Group, Hussein, of course, there can always be elements. And when we talk about persecution and the kind of question that has been asked, Hussein, we are saying it because we have facts. As you know, yesterday I never slept home. And I made so many rounds, of course, in Subarus, CID Subarus. And I could hear communication between somebody who was not there in the car and, of course, with the people who were there. And I came to the conclusion that even my arrest must have come from someone, an individual, Hussein, but I cannot, of course, give a blanket condemnation to the government that we fought for. I believe Uhuru Kenyatta has the right intentions for our country, and we support him, but I have a problem with a few elements, Hussein, who are, of course, misusing the powers that they have been given, definitely by the appointed positions that they hold in government.
They are not as powerful as the president, are they?
They are not as powerful as the president.
And I'll come to that.
Yeah.
But when you talk about you being followed around, or just saying this is coming from an individual,
yeah,
it is coming from what happened on Sunday.
Exactly.
You resisted arrest on Sunday.
I have never resisted arrest anywhere, Hussein.
We saw the pictures.
But then I would be charged today. Why did they not charge me today if I arrested?
Did you resist arrest or not?
I never resisted arrest.
If we can just play that clip and see what happened on Sunday.
I will explain.
In Kiharu, that's fine.
All right.
Do we have that? All right. There you go. I'm assuming those are your supporters pushing away the gentleman, the police officer, 2 of them now, and you being taken to the car. What was that?
Hussein, as you know, we had attended a Harabe in Kiharu, in that church called Getoi. I actually came with my phone because I have evidence of even the invitation, because there were 2 planning committees, one in Nairobi and the other one, of course, in Muranga in Kiharu, because it's a church that is very supported by also the people here in Nairobi. I was duly invited for that Harabe, and I attended the Harabe. And Hussein, what happened actually, once I go to the church, we had a chat with the Mheshimiwa Maina Commander, and we agreed, as protocol, of course, is across board everywhere, that because we had visitors who are colleagues in parliament, it was my prerogative. It was not my right, actually. I never demanded. He's the one who actually insinuated and told me, because we are in Kiharu, I take charge because that is my home. And I went ahead, and if you saw the earlier clips, I invited the Honorable Member for Madhioya first to talk. But of course, Maina Kamada rose up and said in front there that I'm the leader of all Muranga leaders. And when we have visitors, it is my role to invite the visitors. Then between our exchanges there, of course, I saw some guys being called by the other MPs who came with Maina Commander.
Yeah.
And in front there, Hussein, I actually said, I know you are calling police, but I want to tell you that we are in charge and we don't need police. We can conduct this peacefully.
Did you resist the arrest or not?
I didn't resist the arrest. Believe you me, Hussein, if I resisted...
Well, you look at the pictures. How did they look to you? Was that good, what was happening to the police officers?
I was giving a press out there. And of course... Was
that right? What was happening to the police officers? Was that right?
What happened is that the constituents of Kiharu, I am their member of parliament. After giving a presser, we saw some guys, of course, I don't know whether they were police because most of them were not in uniform. And they
we have seen people in uniform who are being pushed. You and I have seen that clip very well right now.
Hussein, I want to be forthright. If I resisted arrest, believe you me, I will not be here at Citizen TV.
I'm just asking, was that right? What was happening to these police officers?
I don't see anything wrong because my constituents in Kiharu... With them being pushed by
people, you're saying there's nothing wrong with that? And you're saying you respect the rule of law?
And I want to thank them, Hussein.
You thank them for doing that?
There is rule of law in this country. And of course, there is dignity for leaders and also for the people that we lead. And I thank the people of Kiharu because they stood up against the embarrassment that was to be caused, not just against me as a person, but their member of parliament.
Again, so you're saying you're thanking them for what happened there.
I thank them because...
What happened and when the policemen were being pushed?
I want you to understand, Hussein. I have never actually had a bodyguard. And when they came, I wish you can play even the one in church.
It's okay.
Because the one in church is a bit more detailed.
You see, the problem with what happened in church, we've played it and we've seen it and the stories have been written about it. First, I mean, I don't want to waste a lot of time in this because this is your word against Honorable Maina...
No, against the
commanders.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. First, you came late, isn't it? The function was going on when you came. There's no doubt about that.
Let me explain, Hussein. I was in a church in Muranga town, which I was invited.
That's fine.
We have over 300 churches in Kiharu.
It's fine. I'm just asking, on this specific church, you came late.
I came late for the mass, but I was not late for the harabe.
Okay. From what we gather, in fact, even at the end, one of the people who were giving vote of thanks actually said they were looking for you to come for this harambe, but you were never responding. That is number one. Let me just finish. That's number one. Number two, it is also being said you were never invited there. Number three, I mean, regardless, this is your word against his.
Yeah.
Whether Honorable Maina Commander said, you're saying he said the leader of the people of, the leaders of Muranga.
Yeah.
What was wrong with that? That forced you to go forward and take the microphone and start introducing people?
Hussein, you need to understand because you are just playing you are cherry picking. Because if you play the whole clip, you'll see that I actually had the microphone. And the person who invited me on stage was actually Maina Commander himself.
Yes.
And once I held the microphones, of course we had a chat, which of course was not maybe captured by cameras. We had a chat that because we had other members of parliament, I was the one to invite them. And just because you can't maybe play a Kikuyu version, which I pleaded with the people in church, I said that I was to give every member a chance to talk.
Because...
And of course...
Why? Who gives you that right?
Who gives me that right?
Yeah.
We were in Kiharu, Hussein.
So what?
So what?
With all due respect, you being a member of parliament, so what? What gives you the right to have you mass talk in church and introduce people?
Hussein, you need to understand.
This is a church, isn't it? There's a harambe going on. There are different people there. What gives you the right to demand?
I never bulldozed. I actually never demanded. I was invited. I came with my phone. I was invited by the parish chairman. I was invited by the local chairman and Professor Batia, who was planning, who was in the planning committee in Nairobi. Okay. So I attended one as a member of parliament. Okay. And actually, Hussein, it's good for me to clarify this.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
The locals in Kiharu actually learned about the guests who were to come, including myself. I knew some, but the locals in Kiharu actually knew about the list of guests that morning.
Were you the guest of honor?
The guest of honor was to be Peter Kenneth, as I was invited by the church.
Who was the guest of honor, Honorable Nyoro?
My invitation by the chairman. My invitation by the chairman indicated that Peter Kenneth was to be the guest of honor. But when I arrived in the church, of course I was guided that Maina Kamada had a contribution from a guest of honor who was to be the president of Kenya.
Yes.
And Hussein, I actually told Maina Kamada in front of the church that you are my father.
Okay.
Because hata tukiwa buge ananiita kijana yangu.
All right.
And I told him, Mheshimiwa, I'll actually give you the last chance because you deserve that as the chief guest. And I was to do that.
All right.
And Hussein, it's good for people to understand. Even when the president of Kenya comes to Kiharu, or the deputy president,
yes,
there is protocol. For example, even in that church,
which is not embedded in any kind of law.
It is not embedded.
This is not a political function. It was a church function, and there was a fundraising.
Yeah.
So you cannot really demand the right to be the one in charge. Either way, be that as it may, because you have your word, what you're saying, and what Honorable Commander is saying. I'll just go through the police version from Josephat Kinyua, a statement from the police county commander of Muranga, who said they are pleased to have the MPU, that is, live quietly, and they were ignored. The MP and his entourage of rowdy youth roughed up police officers and made their escape. The act of orchestrating chaos and disturbance at any place is a criminal offense, and it is more regrettable when such an act is committed within the precincts of a house of worship. So, I mean, there were chaos after that, isn't it? Because you actually apologized to the church.
I apologize.
Meaning you acknowledge that there were problems and there were chaos.
Of course, you say I'm a Christian, and my grandfather was a canon in church.
All right.
And of course, that kind of a sin is regrettable by all means. But I also want to say that if you juxtapose that, it was said in a presser by the commandant, then I think he's exposing the incompetence even within the police. Because if indeed there was any criminality, I went yesterday and registered a statement. But I'm here, Hussein, as a free man.
Right.
If indeed there is anything wrong I did, and you have the cameras here, they would just have pinpointed those people they are calling goons.
Okay.
Because these are the people of Kiharu. You can see these are women.
All right.
These are men from Getoi who could not start the embarrassment that was caused. But also, Hussein, allow me to just say this. As you actually even aired, even on that Sunday, and even the headlines, it was Kieleweke MPs versus Ndindi Nyoro of Tangatanga. What am I trying to drive home? Hussein, we have to be honest to the Kenyan people. As I told you, even the list of guests, we knew that morning. If you go backwards, you can pray even Honorable Senator Mwaura's sentiments, where previously they were friends with these other guys of Kieleweke, and there was a meeting, and he actually said it even previously, and he said it today. There was a meeting that was discussed, that these people were looking for a meeting to come to Kiharu and humiliate me. Of course, because of the position, probably I have taken it Tagatanga, or ostensibly. And Hussein, I want to say forthright, the intentions of the church were right. It was a harabe. Okay. But as far as Kieleweke is concerned, this was a political game for them, because they had said it earlier.
They came...
Minor Commander...
Those are Honorable Isaac Mwaura's words.
Those are Honorable Isaac Mwaura's words.
It doesn't mean it's true. Either way, they came there for fundraising, so how is that political? Yeah.
Honorable Commander himself, who was the lead of the team, had called me earlier and told me in Kiswahili, wewe kijana, tunakuja kwako tarehe 8 mwezi wa 9.
Okay.
Na tunakuja kukumaliza kisiasa.
All right.
And I told him...
Those are your words. We cannot, I mean...
I wish he's
allegations
here to,
because Honorable Commander is not here. Either way, my question is this. After all this has happened, you kept on talking about this being political. Yes. Tell me what is political about this. What exactly is political about it?
Hussein, the entire thing about being arrested is political.
Why?
One, because I am here. If I have committed any crime, believe you me, I will not be here. Number two, previously, these are my colleagues we talk in Parliament. And I have told you many countless times, including today. I was with Gojiri Wabogo, we talked with the Minor Commander, and I have told you specifically, and I can tell you that without blinking of an eye, Minor Commander had requested to come to a church in Gaturi, in my constituency. It was declined by the father. He was to come. He was to organize for a harabe in a church called ACK Murarandia. Okay. It was declined by the reverend there. So they are just looking for a way to come to Kiharu.
All right. I'm still going to ask this question.
All right.
All right. I mean, fine. I mean, you're within your rights, due respect to say all those things that about Honorable Minor Commander. Of course, he's not here, so those are just your words against him. I'm asking this question: what is political about what happened?
What is
Who is behind this politics? What exactly? Because you've talked about the Interior Principal Secretary, Kibicho. You've talked about your life being in danger. You talked about plans of assassination. What exactly is political about this, and who is behind it?
Hussein, we may look meek out here, because of course there are people who chance dump, especially the Kieleweke, even in parliament, telling us that we are in government and we are the government. And I want to tell you, forthright, that they always tell us, sisi tunapewa pesa pale, of course pointing at the OP. And I can tell you, and anyone who has contrary views can even take me to court. Kieleweke is funded by PSK Pisho. I can tell you, Daughters of Raila, called Embrace, is funded by the same person. And I can tell you, even yesterday, the vehicle I was in, I could hear, yes sir, again, yes PS.
My question,
I want you to tell me who was that person being referenced as such.
Do you know? You just said yes sir, yes PS.
You
don't
tell
know
me
yourself.
I was in a police vehicle. Who is the PS?
You're the one who's saying it.
I was in a police vehicle.
It could be anybody else. It could be any PS. Either way.
Your guess is as good as mine.
So why would you say, then why would you say it's PS Kibicho?
Your guess is as good as mine. I was in a police vehicle.
You're the one who's saying it's PS Kibicho.
We have information. I mean, Hussein, we have people also within the system, even if we are called Tanga and maybe people who are being rained on out there. But I can tell you, we have information and I can substantiate. And these people,
that's what I wanted to ask you. I mean, if you can substantiate your claims of saying they are being funded by
themselves,
the PS. Okay.
Themselves in parliament.
You cannot prove that.
Themselves in parliament.
Told you.
They always tell us.
It's a word of mouth.
That if it's about money, they have.
It's a word of
mouth.
If
it's about power, they have. And I can tell you, Gojiri Wabugo even yesterday had updated that on Sunday that the day was not yet over for me. And they kept telling me, where Utarara Dani? Who is this person who has all this power and connected to a group of politicians who are dividing our Jubilee party and purporting?
So you cannot prove it, in other words. It's what they tell you. You can't prove it. You're telling me it's what they tell you in parliament. So you cannot prove it.
Hussein, if you tell me your name is Hussein, which better way is there for me to prove the name?
It's not about the name. You said they're being funded.
They are being funded.
There has to be a trail. If
they always tell us, and I have more information.
My question is, because you cannot, I mean, you can say that fine, but you cannot prove that that is true. Either way, when you talk about PS Kibicho and you talk about people in government wielding power, and there was a tweet to that effect. Who is more powerful here? Are you not in government? Are you not in Jubilee? Is your leader not the President Kenyatta? Doesn't he have the authority? Are you saying he's okaying this?
I want to be honest in this discussion. We campaigned in 2017, and of course we campaigned for one government called Jubilee that is led by His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto.
Okay.
Then there are people who are appointed. I'm just answering your question.
Sure, go ahead.
Then there are people, of course, who were appointed by the president. Some of these people, of course, they have their own personal ambitions and their own personal insecurities. And my own opinion is that some of these people, and especially the PS, the one that I have mentioned, of course, this is my guess, it is out of insecurities.
Guess.
It is out of ambitions.
Okay.
Because they have tried many things, because I can see the route we are going now is political. They have tried to dust off Raila Odinga to sell him in central Kenya. That is a fact. They have also tried to package it's you people who broadcast. They have tried to package C.S. Matiang'i as a possible presidential candidate.
Those are your words. That's your guess. You actually said that's your guess.
Am I the only person who reads newspapers in this country?
Honorable Nyoro, you've said very well. That's your guess.
It has
never
been
has
out
the
there.
Media reported that.
Even people endorsing Matiang'i. I never endorsed him. He was endorsed. If I may just finish.
Yeah.
Of course, I know they are also trying to dust off Musalia Mudavadi, including the office that he has now. I know the person who is funding it, and their only goal is
who are
one.
These people, they are. Well, I mean, these are allegations against them. I asked you a question, and you're not answering my question. Who are these people? Are they the authority? Do they have the ultimate authority?
You remember
they don't have the ultimate authority.
You remember there was a story about a person who said about Stop Ruto movement.
That's fine.
Kieleweke, Embrace.
So you're telling me, okay, because you don't want to answer my question, I'll ask it this way.
Which one?
You're telling me the president and the deputy are condoning this. That's what you're saying, because, or unless these people are more powerful than them.
Of course they are not more powerful than the president.
So are they condoning this?
You may have to call them for them to answer.
You're the one making these allegations.
Hussein, I am talking about individuals. Because you're in the Jubilee
party, you could have sought redress from the deputy president or the president, isn't it? Have you?
I believe there will be that forum, but I can tell you for a fact, and I told you so before, the president may not be aware, but I am sure that it is the PS Kebisho And I have told you, I mean, Hussein, just give me a benefit of doubt. I have told you even in Parliament, these fellows kept telling me, we are going to arrest you.
Again,
these fellows
it's
keep
a word
telling
of mouth.
These guys keep telling us,
all right,
we are being funded by this person.
All right.
Hussein, which other evidence do you need from me?
That's not evidence, according to me. I don't know about others, but I mean, that's just a word of mouth. But either way, and then you actually even said your life is in danger. They have plans to assassinate you. My question is, have you ever recorded a statement to this effect?
To who?
To the police, definitely.
Who is police?
What do you mean, who's the police?
Who is their boss? I know the boss is after me, and I know for sure.
How do people believe what you're saying? If your life is in danger and you're not going to record a statement, how do people believe what you're saying?
In a modern state, I believe in the rule of law, number one, and a strong state. And I don't think, Hussein, as far as recording a statement to the police is concerned, would help me to fight a political war.
Okay.
When somebody is fighting me politically, I cannot purport to want to fight them back.
Which makes it very difficult for people to believe what you're saying. That's fine.
Hussein,
your colleagues and yourself have been saying one of the reasons that this is happening to be is because of your support for the Deputy President.
I am sure 100%.
So my question is, are you saying the government in which Honorable Ruto is the Deputy President or second in command is punishing you for supporting him?
I can say PS Kebisho is punishing me
where the Deputy
for supporting William Ruto.
Deputy President
and
is punishing you, including the Deputy President, because he's in the same government, punishing you for supporting him. That's what you're saying, in other words. Or unless you're saying the Deputy President has no command here. Or the President.
Hussein, I said from the start, there is, of course, when you're talking about government, there is collective responsibility and there is personal liability and responsibility. And I want to tell you, from the government point of view, led by Uhuru Kenyatta, I know Uhuru Kenyatta is a well-meaning man. We campaigned for him, we know what he stands for. But I continue to tell you, the people that are in government, serving especially in appointed.
Under him.
It is under him, and I am naming people. Not Uhuru Kenyatta, but people within the government.
That's fine, without any evidence, though. But the authority is the president.
I mean...
The authority is the president, isn't it? Are you saying these people are more powerful than the president? Are you saying the president will condone his Jubilee Party members to be persecuted by the same people he's appointed?
You know, Hussein, we are going into circles, and the Kenya we are in, I mean, people know that the dispensation we are talking about. People know their people. Even Vice Chair of Jubilee itself, who've been out there purporting to form a group called Stop Ruto Movement. So in that case, and in that manner, if you take it holistically that way, of course we can pinpoint a few individuals. But it would be unfair for me to come here with a blanket condemnation on the Jubilee government, whereas I know specific. There are so many, there are so many waziris, there are so many PSs in Jubilee government. I am only mentioning one. I cannot be mad.
Although you have, I asked you, do you think it's important to seek redress from the president and the deputy who you campaigned for, isn't it?
Of course.
Who are the bosses?
Yes. When
I get the president, actually.
Maybe when I get a chance, I'll do so, because I know for sure.
You haven't tried yet?
I know for sure they are targeting me. And I mean, Hussein, I'm here at Royal Media Services. I was arrested yesterday. Nikazugushwa the whole of Muranga yesterday. Hussein, I was told to go to court this morning, and there were 3 offenses as listed on the offense list. I went to the court. The fellas accusing me never turned up. Then what do you call that?
Honorable Nyoro, you've talked about this is happening also because you have refused and you cannot sell Raila Odinga's agenda in your area, and I'll read a tweet here because there have been many like this. One is from Rain Asamo, who says, "Good evening, Hussein and Ndindi Nyoro. They say Ndindi Nyoro is dishonest. Why is he dragging the name of Raila Odinga in his woos? Does Raila have the instruments of power? He should stop taking Kenyans for a ride." And your continued criticism of Raila Odinga, isn't that a direct attack? Because you attack Raila Odinga, who's in a handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta, who the president calls a brother. You attack the Building Bridges Initiative. You're actually calling it Blue Band Initiative. That's what you called it. All this, both Raila, the handshake, and the product, which is the BBI, have been supported by Uhuru Kenyatta several times, and he has urged all of you to support them. You're attacking them. You're the one attacking the president, actually. Directly, isn't it?
Hussein, I believe that is a political question. And,
it's just a question. There's nothing political about it. It's what has happened, what you have said, and I'm asking you a question.
Hussein, being a politician, one of the things that we do and we are keen to do is to listen to what we call mashinani.
Okay.
Listen to the voice of the people you lead. And because you read the tweet, and I'm actually responding to that tweet,
yeah,
I can tell you, Hussein, it is actually not my personal problem to sell any candidate in Mount Kenya region.
Yeah.
But I can't commit political suicide.
So who's forcing you to sell Raila Odinga?
Hussein, these people called Kieleweke, including Minor Commander, they have always told us, mpede msipede, huyu ndiye rais wenu, mumzoe mapema. And of course, many of us who are in Tagatanga, including myself, I know I am being targeted politically.
Okay.
And I want to appeal to anyone targeting me. This is not my problem. It is the problem of the people of Kiharu, Muranga, and Mount Kenya region.
So they've told you...
If you want me to sell your candidate,
yeah,
please talk to the population. Let your candidate appeal to them,
yeah,
so that I'll have an easy time.
You are alleging that you have been told to sell Raila Odinga. You're still telling me, you're not telling me by who or how, but you can respond to that later on. You have also not responded to my question why you are directly attacking the issues that President Uhuru Kenyatta has been talking about, like PBI and of course the handshake. And
you know why, Hussein, you are superficial. Because
we're just taking a break. You'll respond to all that, including Honorable Nyoro, yeah, what many people are saying, walking you down memory lane. Okay. This was an article you wrote in 2017. August, one of the things you said was, I'll quote you, you said, "I have of late come to a point of entertaining thoughts that promote the opposite of freedoms and democracy." Mm-hmm. You actually said that it's time that Kenya has a benevolent dictator.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what has changed now. But you're the one who's claiming that your freedoms are being infringed or curtailed. Right. We'll talk about all that later. Keep texting us, 22422, SMS number. On Twitter, use the hashtag Newsnight. We are back after this break.